Kuder is our focus on people and our passion and being able to help people. So, to start our presentation, I want to do a little bit of an exercise. So, I think there's something that we all might have in common here. So I want everybody that has a job or is working in something to stand up. All right. Perfect. So I want you to stay standing if your current job, if you currently do, matches what you studied in post-secondary education, either a certificate or a degree or a program. Stay standing if it matches. Yeah, stay standing if it matches. All right, now stay standing if you never changed your focus of study when you entered into post-secondary education. So I know some people will start something or finish something, but then you've studied something else that's in line with what you're currently doing. Now, I want you to stay standing if you started post-secondary education, you continued through what you started without changing, and are currently working in that same job that correlates to what you started. Does that make sense? All right. Still there. All right. So as we can see, there's the point of this exercise. You guys can sit down. Thank you very much. Thank you. So as you can see, although that are left standing, you're lucky, and I think being career-focused individuals, you're going to be able to say that you had studied something that you're in line with what you're doing today. But the unfortunate reality is that isn't everybody's experience. The reality is we sometimes leave. We leave our career paths and the decisions that we make up to chance. So, what we're going to talk about today, through this presentation, is how SFI and Kuder can bring a career planning system to the Philippines, so we don't have to leave it to chance. We don't have to leave our youth of today, the country's future of tomorrow, their happiness and success up to chance. We can provide them with a systematic approach to provide them with career guidance and to help them find their passions in life and how that relates to career success. So we believe that not only helping individuals become successful through career guidance, what we're able to do is start to bridge that gap that we see from education to workforce, and really bridge that gap on making sure that the investment in the education of our youth today equates into economic development of the future. So as I go through this presentation, I want you to keep in mind, what are some of the decisions that you've made in your academic careers and your professional careers that have gotten you here today? How did you make them? What were they based on? Who influenced you? What do you know now that might have made that experience or that decision-making process a bit better? So I think those are all important questions as we look through this presentation. So I'm going to begin a little bit on introducing you more to the company of Kuder. And the best person to do that is the CEO, owner, and president, Phil Harrington.
When people ask me what we do, and I always say, Kuder is a comprehensive career guidance system that's used for students all across the world, students and adults. But what do we really do? We change lives. We have a motto that simply says, you cannot be what you cannot see. Our job at Kuder is to help you see what you can become. And so as an organization, our job is to help you find what your pathway in life is, help you find the right education plan, get you tuned into the right college or university, and ultimately into the right career path. That's what we do at Kuder. We have such a rich history, you know. Kuder goes back to 1938, and here we are today. About 165 million people have used one of the Kuder career planning systems, and so those are Kuder Galaxy for our elementary students, Kuder Navigator for our secondary students, and Kuder Journey for our college students and the adult workforce across the globe. I think one of the greatest accomplishments that I personally have is that we've built a family of associates, that we have some of the best and brightest in all fields that work for the Kuder company. They're here for the right reasons. They're here to impact the lives of others. And so we hire only the best and the brightest. And when you think about what happens inside the four walls here, it really comes back to the passion that they have for serving others. And I always say, no one can hold a candle to Kuder, because we have the highest, most reliable, valid assessments. I sleep really well at night knowing that the information we're providing for youth and adult across the globe are the best in the world. So whether it's the people that are actually writing the content that go on a highly customized system, to the technicians and the technical people that are coding behind the scenes and creating those graphics and making all the technical issues come together, and the project managers that pull it all together, and how do we do the translation so that today we can offer this in Arabic and we can offer it in Spanish and Italian and what other languages. All of that happens inside four walls with people that are passionate about what they want to do. Kids are looking for the same thing. They're looking for hope in their lives. They're looking for success in their lives, just as parents are. We all want something more and better for our child. And so that's the great thing that I get to do as helping to bring the tools that Kuder provides, is to provide hope for the future of these youth. We serve the needs of people miles and miles and miles away. And yet I always say, when I have the opportunity to be in front of country leaders, you know, we have something major in common. We all share the same sun and the same moon. And we share the same value about wanting better for our kids, for our community, and for ourselves. And that's really the fun part of working at Kuder, is because we're able to help people find those things in life.
All right. So, just to recap some of the things that you heard from Phil. So the name Kuder comes from Dr. Frederick Kuder. Who here knows of Dr. Kuder? Anybody? Well, he started this work a long time ago, so he was a much older man than any of us in here, so I don't expect anybody to know him personally. But Kuder developed the first interest assessment, first interest inventory in the world. So he started his work back in the 1930s, and he was dedicated to the research and the psychometric properties of developing an assessment to help people discover their passions. Kuder is famous for saying that you can't teach people what they're interested in. You can't teach them what they're passionate about. That's something that has to be discovered. So the thing that Kuder focuses on, and we carry on his legacy today, is helping people discover those interests, discover those passions, and understand how does that relate to the career opportunities that they have in front of them. From there, that's helping people find their true north. Once you've found what you're interested in, then you can add the skills. Then you can add the skills to be able to match those career aspirations. Because if you are good at something, you're very talented and gifted at a particular skill, but you have no interest in it, please run as far away from that profession and occupation and that skill as fast as possible. Because if you make that your life's work, you will never be satisfied. You won't be happy. That will bleed into other facets of your life, not just professionally, but personally. So Kuder also would talk about that the root cause for most people seeking some sort of psychological counseling, any sort of problems in their lives, maybe marriage counseling, the root cause, the majority of why people were seeking counseling was due to one reason, and that reason was job dissatisfaction. So, his work's life was dedicated to helping people discover what those passions are and get them on the right track and allow them to be able to then understand what are the skills after you've understood your passion, what it is that you need to learn to be able to achieve career happiness. So Kuder's been around for nearly 80 years. We have a pretty simple motto in all the work that we do. We say, you cannot be what you cannot see. We help you see what you can become. So that focus on helping people that we share with SFI and with many of you in the room today, that focus of helping people discover and achieve what we want to be is at the center of what we do. We do that by taking our rich history and our global authority in career guidance and education to really be able to provide proven tools that are backed by research, are evidence-based, to be able to help individuals navigate life's journey. So starting as early as kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, all the way through grade, we say people entering into retirement, from K through grade, helping individuals engage in the career planning process, identify what it is that they want to do in life, professionally, what's going to make them happy, and how they're going to be able to have those aspirations last a lifetime. So over our rich history, we've been able to impact the lives of over 165 million individuals. So that doesn't happen overnight. That wasn't like we turned the light switch on and boom, bam, 165 million. No, that started with one individual. And that grew to 2, and then 100, and 1,000, and 1,000,000. And as you can see, we're honored to be able to have helped over 165 million people discover what their passions are and help them plan accordingly their careers around them. Today we have 28,000 sites around the world. So we work in all 50 states. We have offices, I'll show you in a little bit, in different areas around the world. And from our work that we've done globally, we've been able to receive the E and E Star Award. So this is a presidential award from the President of the United States that commemorates our excellence in exporting. So in 2014, we were able to win the E Star, or the E Award, from President Obama. And just last year, we won the E Star Award from President Trump. All right. So we're headquartered in Iowa. Anybody here ever been to Iowa? No. Oh, please. So Iowa is right in the. Does anybody know where Iowa is? Don't be shy. That's all right. I'm from Minnesota, and I didn't know where Iowa was from. Minnesota is the state just above Iowa. So Iowa's in the middle of the country. We call it's in the heartland. It's a flyover territory. So we're headquartered there. We work in all 50 states. We have 9 statewide implementations. So one of the biggest states that we work with is the state of Florida. So every child and every citizen in the state of Florida has access to our resources and to our career planning system. We work internationally, so we've done a lot of work in the Gulf region. So in the UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Kuder. Done work in East Africa. So we have an office in Rwanda. Here, regionally, Joyce heads our Singapore office. So we have a nationwide implementation in Singapore, as well as doing work in South Korea, China, and Australia. So you can see that it isn't unique. Career planning isn't unique to a particular country. There's needs of helping people identify their passions all around the world. So what we're able to do is, we know that we're a US-based company. We're not bringing a US solution to the Philippines. What we're bringing is our expertise, our global expertise in career planning, finding great partners like SFI that have the local expertise to be able to create a solution here, particular for the Philippines, that's designed for the Philippines and customized to the particular needs here. Here's just some of those examples of our systems that we've done around the world. You have, let's see, where's the light? There, I found the light. So in Kuder, working with the Kuder Foundation, in Tasmania with the state of Tasmania, in Australia, Abu Dhabi, and then also closer to here, closer to home, Singapore. So Singapore, they have they've focused on something that many people do around the world, and have realized that the most valuable resource a country has is what? It's people. The most valuable resource that a country has are its people. So Singapore has invested heavily in their people, making sure that they have the proper skills and proper career guidance to be able to reach their full potential. And that's something we want to be able to bring here to the Philippines. How do we do that? We lean heavily on our research faculty. So our research faculty is made up of some of the world's experts in career guidance, from a practitioner standpoint, from an academic standpoint, from a psychometric standpoint. We have them on our team to help us be able to do a couple different things. One, be able to make sure that the information that we're providing individuals is real, it's valid, and it's bias-free. But then they also do something that helps us to measure what type of impact are we able to have. So some of that impact that we see across the board, across all the work that we do in all 50 states, in the different countries that we work with around the globe. These are some of the statistics that we see of the impact that we're able to have. So we see those individuals that engage in career planning with our systems. We see an increase in academic performance. That academic performance increase, where do you think that comes from? That comes from being able to help individuals understand what it is that they're working towards. It brings relevance to their studies. If they know that they've gone through career planning, they know what the end goal is, they know why they're at school. It motivates them more to be able to work harder and perform at a higher level. Next, we see a higher rate in transitions. So we are firm believers that not everybody, to be successful, not everybody needs to attend a 4-year university. Not everybody needs a 4-year degree to be successful. To build a stable economy, not everybody can study medicine, law, or engineering. It takes many different professions for us to grow as an economy. So what we see is people in high school using our platforms will transition to some sort of form of post-secondary education at a 90% rate. Because they understand that might just be an apprenticeship or a certificate. It might be a 2-week course, something outside of secondary school is important in improving themselves in the job market. We see once they transition into those programs, they stay there. We see an increase in 18% in retention because they know why they're there. It isn't that, oh, well, I've heard that if I study nursing, I'll get a good job. and I start nursing, and then all of a sudden, I don't really like this. And then you stop. No, people that have gone through, engaged in the career planning process, have a plan, will go and achieve that plan, and they'll finish their studies. And they finish at a much higher rate. This is the big number. You heard Phil in his presentation or his video talk about how do we sleep very good at night. It's because over the 1 million people that we serve a year, this number always comes up. Over 90% of the people say what we've been able to help them with is provide hope for the future. So this idea of hope, I mean, where does this hope come from? This hope comes from they've been able to see what they can be. We've given them a vision. We've given them a goal. We've given them the resources to then put that plan to match that goal. And with that, giving them the confidence and the motivation to achieve it. So that's where the hope comes from. And if you're filling people with hope, if that think of 165 million people, if we've been able to provide them with hope, just think of the power that is. It's a powerful thing, and good things and prosperity are bound to happen. So, we talk about the Kuder talent pipeline. This is looks at it, our platforms, the work that we do from a macro standpoint with the different stakeholders. So we say we're trying to build a talent pipeline. So what does that mean? We know that students are entering into the secondary or into the education system every year. We spend lots of time, energy, invest lots of resources in educating students, hoping that one day they will enter into the workforce. But that's what we do. We kind of just hope. We hope people will. We know that a good education is important, and we just hope that they'll enter into the workforce. We know that that'll happen. That's our hope. So what we're trying to do is provide resources at each stage to help people understand where is it that they fit in the workforce. So in primary age, we're not assessing any students. In primary, it's all about career awareness. So being able to open up children's eyes of the world of work. Many times, students, little boys and little girls, already by age 5, already have a preconceived notion of gender bias in occupations. So we're trying to, in a very fun and engaging way, start to open up their eyes to the world of work. What are the different possibilities that exist? They know what mom and dad do. They know some stereotypical occupations. But start to, in a very fun way, playing games, going through different planets. That's what we call Galaxy, going through different planets, worlds of work, to be able to understand what is work. Why do people work? Where do they work? What are some of the tools and resources they use? What are some of the environments that people work in? So really being able to help them explore and become aware of the different career options that are available to them. So once they then move into secondary school, then we're going to start with a little bit of self-exploration. If you think about it as a compass, trying to find true north, a GPS system, what are the 2 coordinates that you need? You need 2 bits of information. You need to know where you're at, and then you need to know your destination. So through our assessments, we help people discover their interests, their skills, and their values. With that information, they're able to understand where they're at today and start to explore the different occupations and destinations that are available. What happens on your phone when you when you put in the location of where you're at, where you want to go, and you push go. It creates a map. No? It gives us direction. So through our system, through the Kuder Atlas system, that's what we're doing. We're helping people understand who they are, where they're at today. What are their possibilities? What are the destinations that are a good fit for them? And then giving them the resources to push go and see what that map looks like. See what type of education is needed to achieve their career goals. So, and we know that, as I had stated before, there's many different ways, many different pathways to success. It could be a 2-year university, a 4-year university. Maybe it's a vocational or trade school program, an apprenticeship. Being able to open up their eyes and understand what is the pathway to the workforce. We know along the way, these little red lines here, I'm sorry, I know I'm standing in your way. The little red lines here are people are the non-completers. We know along the way people are going to fall off. So what we're able to do and provide with the system is a support system. Allow them to get re-engaged, be able to engage in the career planning process, and understand that there is hope for them. There is a path to the workforce. Here, we've talked about it. Luis talked about it. It's parental involvement. We know that the number one influence on career choice for an individual are the parents. So we provide resources for them. We provide the students with information and the parents to be able to have that conversation. Because parents want, it's no different. Before starting to work at Kuder, I was a bit of a relativist, so everything was a bit relative. But after working around the world, engaging with students, engaging with parents, there is a universal truth. And that universal truth is we all want better for the next generation. Parents all want better for their children. So being able to help them engage in those conversations and identify what is better for their children, what is better for the next generation, we're able to do that through the information that we provide. Now lastly on the screen, you'll see professional guidance and support. So there's a lot going on the screen, and we just didn't put it on the bottom because we ran out of space. We put it on the bottom because it's the most important piece of everything. It's what holds this whole system up. It holds the diagram up here. And those are the individuals, the professionals, that are engaging with individuals and helping them plan for their careers. We can create the greatest tools, and we've created really great tools. But if people don't know how to use them, if they don't have the professional development and the skills and knowledge on providing coaching, career advising, they don't get used. It's just like a carpenter. If a carpenter doesn't know how to use his hammer and saw, what do you think happens to the hammer and saw? It collects dust on the workbench. So being able to make sure that individuals have the skills and the training needed to be able to engage in career planning is also very important. So I'll get going. How are we on time? All right. As Joanne Harris-Bowlby, so she's known as the godmother of career guidance in the U.S. I've heard her present many times. She says, when we're strapped for time, she says, buckle up, we're going for a ride. So buckle up, we're going for a ride. So the foundation of how our career planning systems are built. So it's a very simple process. First step, take an assessment. Next step, we're going to explore the different occupations. From there, we're going to plan for education. And then lastly, we're going to plan for work and how do we make that transition from an academic role to a professional role. So it's all about this idea of building and maintaining a lifelong portfolio, creating a plan and putting it in action. So Kuder Atlas allows us, that's what we're going to be using to get started here in the Philippines, to be able to provide the basic career guidance services. So it's built on responsive design. So we know that not everybody will have access to a computer, but we know that everybody has access to a mobile phone. I lost my mobile phone somewhere around here. But anyways, everybody has access to that. So we know that being able to get this in front of as many people as possible, that we need to have it be mobile friendly. So it's built on a responsive design interface. Here's a bit of a landing page. You log in, everybody gets a profile to log in. They'll have a bit of a dashboard, be able to put in their information here. And then this is where the magic begins. So as you had seen, that process of assessing, exploring, planning, and doing is right here along the side of the screen, going through the steps. So the first step, finding out where we're at. We're going to identify what our passions are, what our interests, what our skills, how confident we are in our skills, and then what are our values, what are our workplace values. From there, identifying those information, we're going to then get a report. So we're going to see our assessments are based in the RIAZAC code, John Holland's theory. So they're going to get some information about that. How do they score? What are they high in? What are they low in? From there, we're going to relate what their interests are to specific career areas. So specific career areas, we've identified 25 career interest areas around the globe. So those interest areas will then help individuals start to facilitate that exploration process. From there, we're going to look at specific occupations. So we know when we talk about career planning, when people say, oh, what am I going to do when I grow up? And they look and they see that there's 60,000 different job titles out there. 60,000 job titles. It's a lot of job titles. From there, you can whittle it down. We say there's anywhere between 2,500 to 3,500 classified occupations. Okay, that's better than 60,000, but still big. How do you start to pick and choose? How do you explore what's right for me? From there, what we've been able to do is identify through our assessments a group of occupations, clusters, interest areas, to be able to start to explore something that's a bit more bite-sized information. See, how does that relate to what my passions are? So from there, they'll be able to understand what exploring the different occupations. So they'll be able to click on specific occupations, get the relevant information, see, is this a good fit for me or not? From there, once they've been able to identify those occupations, here they can see across the board their different assessment results. So from an interest perspective, skills perspective, and value perspective. So the work that SFI has done on the talent map and on the skills side of it is very important. That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the interest. So being able to provide individuals with that information, saying, here's your interest, you have a very high interest here. Your skills are down here. Well, we can work on that. We can then start to explore education options. We can explore the different programs that are needed to bring your skills up to meet your passion, to meet your interests. So in the system, being able to then identify the different education offerings and institutions, training centers, and programs to be able to put that into your plan, your ultimate career plan. Here's just some more information that we would provide on education options. Some resources on being able to prepare for work. So once we've gone in, we're doing the hard work, our studies. Then you need to start to prepare from that academic role to a professional role. So here's just some tools in here to help guide that. So you have CVs, cover letters, references, documents that can all be in the system. Interviewing skills, just some tips on interviewing, how to prepare for that. Local resources, so we know that we're able to provide some great information here, but there's lots of great local resources that individuals already use. So being able to put that in here, so we have SFI Career Center in here, their services that are available, PhilJobNet, Educación, different information sites, can all be in here. So it can facilitate all of the great information that's out there in one spot. And then here you can just review your favorites. So as you're exploring, going through the system, you can favorite occupations, you can favorite education programs to go back and really helping you put together that ultimate career plan. That's an actionable, as Luis says, an actionable item. Many times, the struggles that individuals have, we saw in the video, the struggles. Many times it's just, they don't have a plan. If we give them a plan, give them the confidence and motivation that they're going to achieve that plan, and that confidence and motivation comes from, they know that they're pursuing their passion. They know what they're pursuing is going to ultimately make them happy. So giving that to people, that will put them on the right track. And if we're putting every individual, so there's 105 million people in the Philippines, a lot of people. Just think, one person at a time, we put on the right track. One person at a time, we give hope for the future. That's bound to be able to lift all of us and create economic development for the country. Here's just some administrative resources. So here you can see across the board, these are the different interest areas. Basically, from a macro standpoint, so if this was a school could understand where their students, where do they lie in comparison to the specific clusters. So that information from a school perspective can be important on making curriculum choices. Why do we, every school offers for vocational training, they'll offer barista and mechanic. Is that really one? Does that fit the interests of their students? Does that really serve them and what they want to pursue in life? Two, the question is we can only have so many baristas and so many mechanics. So this type of information can support data-driven decisions by schools on what programs that they're offering. Now think of it from a regional standpoint. Regional governments, policymakers, if they have this type of information, where are people's interests lie? Where they already know, we can, the country, regions, communities, they have experts that can identify the demand. They can identify the jobs and occupations that are in demand. What we're able to provide here is the future supply. So if they know where the future supply is coming from to be able to help meet that demand, they can put the policies and programs in place to be able to achieve that. All right. So this is just some of the administrative tools that you'll see. Professional development. So we talked about it. There's a shortage of professionals, of career counselors in the country. I'm not going to stand up here and say we're going to be able to fix that. We're going to be able to have 50,000 registered career counselors in the country. Because that is more than a Herculean effort. That's more than what we can do right now. But our approach to professional development is creating what we call career advisors. So, career advisors. We say it isn't just the responsibility of the counselors to provide advice, career advice. It's all of our responsibility. We can all provide and be the ground troops for our generals. You know, our generals are the experts. They're the counselors. They're the ones that have the education in counseling. But they need support, and we can all support. So having a base knowledge, we use 2 different programs. We call the 10-hour essentials and the 30-hour advanced course. So with a little bit of knowledge on career theory, a little bit of knowledge on how to properly advise somebody, we can all be supporting the professionals. Not only supporting the professionals, but supporting our communities and the individuals, the youth in those communities, on advising on their career plans. So, and the most important thing, when we're trying to talk about reaching the masses, reaching everybody, you need to be able to have those ground troops. You need to be able to have people that, yes, they can provide, they can make a positive impact on people by providing coaching and advising, but they also need to know what's more important, when to pass it on to the professionals. So through these programs, we're able to start to create that battalion, create that support that professionals need. So, what are some of the positive impacts that we see? If there's one thing you took away from the presentation, is the word hope. That's what we're about. We're providing hope for the future, empowering youth, increasing retention and completion through career guidance, allowing our education and our training systems to be more effective, so that people are going and receiving that education, the ones that are interested, and they're going to finish, to complete, and use those tools adequately to find success and happiness. So you have motivated students, a motivated workforce, and ultimately more happy and productive employees. So the one thing I'm going to end on here is a little bit of video that we hope one day to be able to come back and see and produce here in the Philippines.
I have hope for the future. I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future. I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future.
I have hope for the future. I have hope for the future. I have hope for the future.
So with no doubt, I know that the dedication that Kuder has here, that SFI has here, that we will be providing hope to the future to all people in the Philippines and helping them dream big and plan accordingly. So thank you very much for